Alright, let's get to round 3, shall we? We are still with Vincent on the right here, playing his Blood Eldrazi. Just a quick reminder, the blood referring to Blood Sun. So you're able to still play things like the Ancient Tomb we see on the board right now. You can play City of Traders, you can play Eldrazi Temple. But you do turn off things like Wasteland, you turn off things like fetch lands, so still a really good piece of interaction. His opponent here, going turn 1 Mother of Runes, is going to be Jerryt. Jerryt we don't usually see in Legacy. We've seen him, I think, twice in Modern. I could be wrong on that. But he does occasionally like to play Legacy. He doesn't have a deck, but he does borrow one. He's playing Death and Taxes right now. And well, right now it's Vincent doing much of the playing. Turn 1 Rebel Master, just a incredibly powerful and aggressive play, even in Legacy. And yeah, just kind of running away with it. We're gonna have to see if Jerryt is able to find some sort of answer for this. If not, then this is gonna be a very quick game 1. Doesn't look like he has anything in hand that could get rid of the Rebel Master. Numazawa's Jitte, I guess, but that's gonna take some time to get going. Now, a Chalice on 1 for Vincent here, so Swords to Plowshare is also not gonna cut it here. Yeah, this is looking like a fast game. This is looking like chump blocking with Mother of Runes, and it's not ideal. Now that I think about it, maybe he should have already, to be honest. You just block, then give the Mother of Runes protection from red, and yeah, that saves a lot of damage. Never underestimate that. Does open you up to removal, but at this point, I think you prefer just not taking a bunch of damage. Talia coming down from Jerryt here is actually a pretty good answer against the Rebel Master. Because when the Rebel Master attacks, it gets attack from the goblins, but it doesn't get toughness. So yeah, it just dies off first strike damage. So that's potentially a way for Jerryt to kind of stabilize here, and now we'll have to see if Vincent has anything else going on. Okay, so Jerryt killing one of the tokens, killing the Simian, and taking 2 damage. So, definitely a bit of value there. Kind of pumping the brakes on Vincent here. Now, Vincent is playing Eldrazi, so there are a lot of really good top decks that he could be pulling here. Like, just a Reality Smasher off the top could just blow this game out of the water. But we'll have to wait and see. And my house right now, I'm cooking a beef stew, and my whole house just smells of sambal and coconut milk. I love it, but it's making it really hard to focus on this game. But we'll get there. We'll get there. Don't worry. Oh, I'm eating good tonight. I did remember to eat before casting today. If you remember my casting of like 3 rounds of blue-black food, yeah, no, that was rough. I hadn't eaten anything that day, and it was just food token, and just ramming it into my head. So no more of that today. No more of that. Now, from Jerryt's side, we get Recruiter of the guard. We'll have to see what he gets off that. Actually, not sure what I would get. Probably just Stoneforge Mystic. Palace Jailer's also not the worst. Try and snowball this advantage, but maybe that's a bit too greedy. I think it's probably just Stoneforge Mystic. Go get just get a Batter Skull or Cauldra. Not sure if Jerryt has Cauldra, but if he does, that's pretty good. That's pretty good. If not, it's probably gonna be Batter Skull, I would imagine. So we'll have to see if Vincent is able to draw something. Now, unfortunately, these goblins, they have to keep attacking because the Rebel Master says that other goblins you control must attack each turn if able, which unfortunately means that a lot of these goblins are gonna be thrown under the bus. Now, Jerryt does decide to just leave the Recruiter to die. Probably fine. Just keep up some protection, because Vincent is playing Punishing Fire and Fiery Confluence. So having protection from red to keep your Thalia in play could potentially be very nice. Vincent, unfortunately, gonna have to tap the other Ancient Tomb as well for this Chalice on 2, thanks to the Thalia tax. But Chalice on 2 is still a really good play here, especially if you know there's a Stoneforge Mystic there. Now, Jitte, I think, yeah, Jitte is 2 as well. So that's not coming down either. Wasteland, not really doing much right here. I mean, it could get rid of the Eldrazi Temple and just make Vincent pay with his life, I suppose. Skyclave Apparition, definitely a very nice draw. Gonna get rid of the Chalice on 2. So the Jitte is live again, the Stoneforge Mystic is live again. I think there is a Rishadan port. Wasteland is going to take care of the Eldrazi Temple. And Jerryt opting not to attack here. Trying to get some more of that sweet first strike value. And yeah, Vincent just needs to draw something. Like anything. Like, I don't know, a Thought-Knot Seer, a Reality Smasher, just an Eldrazi that you can untap and just slam on the board. Because now this game looking mighty good for Jerryt here. Stoneforge Mystic coming down. Probably going to find out if Jerryt is playing Cauldra or not, as we see a bottle of Fanta past the screen. I think there's a second Mother of Runes in Jerryt's hand, which unfortunately will get countered by the Chalice. We still have the Jitte. There is a Cauldra, in fact. Alright. Jerryt now has an actual clock, and unfortunately, Vincent is just completely reliant on his top decks. This, I assume he is. I think if he had... Oh, no, actually, we did see him play the 6-mana Chandra before, so it's possible he's just mana screwed on red. Oh wait, that's not an activation of the Ancient Tomb, that's an activation of this Rishadan port. My bad. Yeah, it's very much possible that Vincent is just color screwed here. Cauldron gonna come down. Cauldron probably gonna swing in for 5. Walter White germ token. Very nice, very nice. I like it. I like it a lot. Let's see. So we're attacking with the apparition and Cauldron. Now Cauldron has a lot of text. When I say a lot of text, it has a lot of text. It's indestructible. The creature's indestructible. The germ right now is a 5/5 with first strike, trample, indestructible, haste, and like exiling death touch, essentially. Like you're not really blocking that profitably. The Rebel Master can, however, block the apparition. Vincent going to 5, and I think that's gonna be it, right? Like, I don't think there's anything in Vincent's deck that can actually get him out of this. Like, he's a mono red deck with a bunch of Eldrazi. Stomping the Mother of Runes. Which unfortunately makes the Stomp fizzle, which means the Bonecrusher Giant goes to the graveyard, and yeah, there's nothing left for Vincent to do except for to go to game 2. I didn't mean that to rhyme, but it rhymes. Now, going into game 2, what can we expect here? Well, we can expect a fast chalice from Vincent here. That's that's a pretty decent start. What else can we expect? Not really sure what Vincent has in his sideboard that might be relevant here. I think most of the relevant cards are already in the main. But we'll have to see. Now, from Jerryt's side, yeah, not much better, I think. He could bring in the Revoker if any kind of Chandra shenanigans are on his mind. But other than that, maybe a Council's Judgment he has on his side. And that's pretty much it. Let's see. And we do have a turn 2 Bonecrusher Giant from Vincent here. We have a turn 2 Stoneforge Mystic from Jerryt here. Most likely gonna find Cauldron. It's gonna find Jitte. Now, to me, that like if I see my opponent finding Jitte, I just automatically assume that Cauldron is in their hand. Which is usually a pretty safe assumption to make. History has yet to prove me wrong on that. I'm just gonna keep assuming that. Get it at 17, thanks to the growth of the Burn Willows. The Punishing Fire gonna take care of the Stoneforge Mystic. And Punishing Fire is going to be a very dangerous threat here for Jerryt. Now, actually thinking about the Punishing Fire, like, Vincent didn't show anything, so maybe Jerryt doesn't know. If he does, he may have thought to bring in Rest in Peace. Which, let's be honest, that's not ideal. But Punishing Fire is just a massive beating. Of course, Wasteland might also be of service here, just getting rid of the Grove. But yeah, this is not looking good for Jerryt here. Recruiter of the Guard is going to find Skyclave Apparition, which, depending on how this goes, may go for the Bone Crusher Giant, or it may go for the Chalice. Maybe if there's any number of swords in his hand. I think there is a swords, yeah. I think there's also a Mother of Runes, 2 Mother of Runes, and a Swords to Plowshares in Jerryt's hand. I'm going to assume that this Skyclave Apparition is going to get rid of the Chalice on 1. But it might not matter, because Vincent is now also playing Chandra Awakened Inferno. Now, we saw Chandra yesterday against Esper Vile. And those emblems, they do a lot of work. Not just the emblems, by the way, because the other modes are basically targeted removal. Oh wait, the -X is targeted removal, the -3 is just a board wipe. Which means that if Chandra is ever in danger of just being beaten down, you just wipe the board and you keep making those emblems. Yeah, for a 6-mana Planeswalker, like, you expect the card to get out of hand real fast, and it does. Absolutely, it does. Not a lot of really expensive Planeswalkers being played in Eternal formats. Usually it tops off at 4, for either Chandra, Torch of Defiance, or Jace the Mind Sculptor. I think sometimes we see the Fairy Hero of Dominaria, which is 5 mana. We sometimes see Karn, which is also 4 mana. 6 mana is a lot. To be fair, I'm not really one to cast stones in this situation, as I'm playing a 7 mana Planeswalker. Yeah, I'm still playing Tybalt, because I'm playing Bring to Light. Yes, we are talking about Legacy. If you've never seen me play Legacy on coverage before, yeah, go look for those games. They're amazing. So, Jerryt went for a Jitte play on the Recruiter, because Vincent attacked with the Bone Crusher Giant and is attacking with the Bone Crusher Giant again as well. Vincent doesn't have any blockers, so this Jitte is definitely going up right now. But the Chandra isn't really in any position to die yet. It could potentially at some point. It might be prudent for Vincent to wipe the board here, but it doesn't really solve the problem. It's the issue. Is going to deal 3 damage to each non-elemental creature, which unfortunately does also include the Bone Crusher Giant. Wait, this doesn't work, does it? Because the Jitte can just turn the Recruiter into a 5/5? Oh, unless Vincent has a follow-up Punishing Fire. Which you actually do know he does. But yet it decides to just let the Recruiter die here. I think that's probably correct. Wait, is Chandra one-sided? Excuse you? Is that a one-sided board wipe? Looking up that card right now. Because that's insane. Somewhere here on my screen, while we get the Skyclave Apparition coming down from Jerryt here. Where is she? Here she is. No. That should have killed the Bone Crusher Giant. Unless... Oh, no, wait. You can just -X, right? Yeah. minus X on the recruiter, which apparently was -3. Fair enough, because that means you need to use all the counters, which probably means that Vincent does have the Punishing Fire, I would assume. We'll have to wait and see. Anyway, the Skycliff Apparition is going to take care of the Chalice, which means Jerryt now has 2 Mothers and a Swords that are potentially live. Looks like an Ether Vial as well. Yes, it is. It's not the best thing to have at this point. And I think the last card in his hand is Rishadan Port. Anyway, the Wasteland is going to get rid of the Grove. Vincent, in response, going to pick up the Punishing Fire, but it's looking like the Punishing Fire is going to have to be fired off right now. Because as soon as Jerryt untaps, that Mother of Runes is live, and you're never gonna use it again. Actually, I missed a bunch of damage. Hang on. Yeah. Vincent is at 11. Ancient Tomb, man. Ancient Tomb hurts. Hurts like hell. Vincent untaps. Can't quite see what he has in hand. Maybe a second Chandra? I think that's a Dead and Gone? Is that a Dead and Gone? That is a Dead and Gone. Yeah, we'll have to see what he does with that. For those of you at home who don't know what Dead and Gone does, it is a split card. Dead is 1 red shock. Gone is 2 and 1 red. Bounce a creature. So, just a fun bit of sideboard tech against Merit Lage. Anything else? Probably something else that I'm not thinking of. Oh, yeah, to be fair, yeah. The Germ of Cauldron, because the Germ is indestructible as well, but indestructible doesn't mean you can just send the Germ to your hand, at which point it just magically disappears. Like, oh my god, what am I gonna do now? Yeah, no, getting rid of the Germ means that Cauldron suddenly just doesn't do anything until you get the 7 mana, which is a lot. It's a lot of mana. Actually, yeah, this beef stew is killing me right now. Like, I am just not paying attention anymore. That's fine. Looks like Jerryt going in for the swing is going to get gone. Yeah, that apparition is gone. Vincent staying in this. Meanwhile, the emblems are just ticking down on Jerryt. Like, there's not much that Jerryt can do at this point. That was the threat that he needed to just keep going. And now that that's gone, like, Vincent untaps. I don't know, he could replay the Skycliff Apparition, get rid of the Bone Crusher Giant, I guess. Which is probably going to be what's going to happen. Yes, it is. But Vincent will most likely untap, give Jerryt an emblem, Jerryt untaps, goes to 1, and needs to win in that turn, and I don't see that happening. Yeah, no, neither does Jerryt, so we are going to game 3. Vincent, you cheeky little... So, between game 2 and game 3, players were kind of discussing what happened that game, and I just happened to catch Vincent boarding out his chalices. Like, they were talking about how the chalice on 1 was just killer. And Vincent is like, oh yeah, no, now he's gonna play around it. Let me just board them out real fast. And yeah, Jerryt on a mulligan to 5, probably expecting some sort of chalice shenanigans. And I didn't quite catch what Vincent boarded in, but I would imagine it's just going to be the most aggressive thing you can think of. Phyrexian Revoker gonna come down as most likely naming the Mother of Runes. That Mother of Runes is not doing all too much anymore. And this is not looking good for Jerryt. Skyclave Apparition is draw for the turn. Looks like he's holding Wasteland, Horizon Canopy, and Recruiter of the Guards, yes. So he does have the land to cast both of his 3-drops. We'll have to see which one he decides to play here. Vincent taking a lot of damage here. But it's worth it, because that is a Rebel Master. Did Vincent not name the Mother of Runes? Interesting. I think he went for Wasteland then. Right? Like, I would assume, because if not, Jerryt would have probably fired off the Wasteland here. Vincent missed the land drop. You can just take him off of 2/3 of his mana, I think. Yeah. The Revoker here is most definitely naming Wasteland, which means Jerryt could consider getting rid of the Revoker here. To be fair, that is incredibly telegraphed. Like, Vincent will see that one coming from a mile away, but I think it's worth it. I think you just... Wait, it can name... It can name lands, right? No, non-land card name. Wait. Revoker can't even name the Wasteland. What did he name? I'm so confused here. So he didn't name Mother of Runes. He's unable to name Wasteland. Just don't mind me. Just talking out of my ass here. So what would he have named? Reality Smasher coming down. Quite dangerous. Quite dangerous. I mean, you don't name Ether Vial after your opponent goes turn 1 Mother of Runes, right? That doesn't seem like the best play here. Looks like a Karakas was the draw for Jerryt here. Unfortunately, it doesn't really do anything in this matchup. It makes white. It's a non-basic plains, pretty much. But yeah, I'm really thinking of what could Vincent have possibly. I guess Stoneforge Mystic is one possibility. Because I think Cauldron is probably the way Vincent loses this, right? The fact that Jerryt is hovering the Palace Jailer probably means that is in fact a Revoker on Stoneforge Mystic. Yeah. Like the way he's just scrolling past the Stoneforge Mystics. Yeah. Palace Jailer coming in hot. Not for the Revoker though. Like, that one is going to have to go for the Smasher. Because right now, the Smasher is smashing and Jerryt is getting smushed. Though, despite being on the mulligan to 5, looks like he has still plenty of things going on. But Vincent's colorless creatures here doing a lot of work. Means the Mother of Runes is just not as relevant as it would normally be. Vincent could still have Punishing Fire that he's now just kind of holding there, hoping that one day the Mother of Runes is just gonna not do anything. I do see a Grove. I think he's holding a Chandra. He's definitely holding another Smasher. We might be just looking at playing second Smasher, go face. I like that line a lot. Looks like that is going to use this opportunity to play the Grove. And that was, in fact, Chandra, what she called Chandra Awakened Inferno. Thank you. That works too. Now, not sure if Vincent is holding another land. He could draw another land, and if he does, then suddenly the second Smasher becomes really dangerous. Even so, having a Chandra Awakened Inferno on the field, having a Reality Smasher on the field, like this is just... This is happening right now. Vincent is just completely in the driver's seat. You know what would have been really nice here? It would have been really nice if Jerryt was able to put a Cauldra into play. Try and get through this. Looks like Vincent also attacked with the Revoker, I think. And then Jerryt traded off the Mother, which that's not ideal. That's actually quite dangerous because now shields are down. If Vincent does have the Punishing Fire, then this game is pretty much over. It's still looking really bad right now. The Palace Jailer here is doing some amount of work. Is going to answer the Reality Smasher for now. That's for those of you who don't read Dutch, that says Staatshoofd, which is pretty much the Dutch way of saying monarch. Jerryt is now the monarch, is going to draw cards, and as long as Jerryt is the monarch, then the Reality Smasher is gone. Did Vincent make an emblem, or did he wipe the board? Double Simeon to play the second Reality Smasher. I think Vincent is getting back that Reality Smasher. Oh, sweet baby Jesus. This is happening. Yeah, that smusher is smushing. He says, give me that Smasher. Give me that Monarchy. And now there's 2 5/5s with Trample coming at you. And your opponent's drawing an extra card. You gave your opponent card draw. Like, it wasn't by choice, but it's definitely something that happened. Jerryt at 3 right now. He needs an answer for 2 Smashers. I don't see that happening. Neither does he. And it looks like Vincent going 3-0 into the final round.